Okay, good day everyone. Welcome back to my class. So today we're going to talk about the part of speech. The speech in here is not the speech pedato, but the speech is every sentence or every clause that you launch from orally or writtenly. It is called the speech. So every speech that you speak or that you write should have the parts that you have put it on. Okay, let me start with the introduction. The definitions of the part of speech. Basically, part of speech itu adalah SVO, subject, verb, and object. Subject is the agent or the one who does the action, and then the verb is the action. For you to highlight the action in here is not only the physical action, but also verbal action and mental action. The example of physical action such as walk, run, stand, and etc. And the verbal action is speak, say, then talk, and the last one, the mental action, is like think, understand, and also comprehend. They are all the mental action. So there are several types of the verb in SVO. And then the last one is the object. It is the recipient or the one who gets the impact of the action. And then for you to know that subject and object are usually noun or kata benda, and also the pronoun atau the support of the subject or the object for the living creature, especially the living creature such as she, he, they, them, themselves, herself. And for you to know that I already attached the slides of PPT about pronoun that you can check it out later on. And then the next is remember the form of SVO is not only a word, but can be also more than one word or a phrase. For a phrase is a collection of words, but it contains only subject, object, or the verb. For examples, look for is two words, which means it is a phrase, but it categorizes only as the verb. And then you have a beautiful girl. It has three words there, but it categorizes only one category, that is noun. So it is called a noun phrase. And the last one is the one who is sitting in the corner. It is a noun phrase. Why it is a corner? It is a noun phrase because you can see there is word who. Who di sini bukan siapa, tetapi yang, which is this is the connectors between words to make it a phrase. What a phrase. Okay, let's move on to the examples of the SVO. The examples of SVO, like the students need a pen. The student is subject, needs is the verb, and then a pen is the object. And then the next example is birds can fly. Birds is the subject, and can fly is the verb. For you to know that this sentence or these verbs can fly is an intransitive verbs, which means the verbs doesn't really need an object. Ada intransitive verbs, ada transitive verbs. Kalau transitive verbs is the verbs that needs object to be added in the sentence. Tapi kalau di sini, it is called intransitive verbs. The other examples of intransitive verbs is like go, and then run, and then stand. They don't need to have object, but they need the adverb or keterangan tempat. Okay. Next is scientists use logics in their work. Scientists ya adalah subject. Use is the verb, and then logics is the object, and then in their works is kata keterangan or adverbs. And then the rest of the examples, perhaps you can answer it by yourself, yeah. And then let's move on to the next slides. So beside SVO, is there any more part of speech? Jawabannya adalah yes. The other SVO, the other speech part of speech beside SVO adalah adjectives, aka kata sifat. Okay. But even though the adjective is kata sifat, but I will divine to you the English definitions of the adjectives. This is the definitions of it. So adjectives are words that describe or modify another person or thing in the sentence. Please highlight the word describe and modify. So the functions of the adjectives adalah untuk mendescribe atau menggambarkan or modify, memodifikasi a person or a thing in the sentence. So if you want to describe the thing or the person in your sentence, you need to have the adjectives. Okay, so the formula of the adjectives is subject plus be. Be in here is, am, and are. Sorry, is, am, are, or was, or were. And they are all depends on the tenses. Or you can have the verb and then adjective. Okay, and then the examples is the thief is innocent. The thief is subject, is be, innocent is adjectives. And the other examples is the flower smells good. The flower subject, smells verb, and then good is the adjective. The last examples adalah those suspicious men are looking at me. The adjectives in this sentence is suspicious, and it is not a sentence. It is part of the phrase. That is those suspicious men. Itu satu phrase, itu noun phrase. Okay. Next, let's move on to the types of the adjectives. There are 4 main divisions of the adjectives. Ada original adjectives, derivational adjectives, comparison adjectives, and the last one is participial adjectives. And now let's start with the original adjectives. Original adjectives are taken from the base words or the roots of the words. Base words is kata kerja. So there are adjectives that is taken from the base word itself. Jadi memang itu dasarnya sudah adjectives, such as wet, fat, little, cute, long, lane, and etc. And then the example is don't step on that floor, it is still wet. So the wet is the original adjectives. Okay, let's go with the derivational adjectives. Derivational adjectives are derived from the base words of verb, noun, or adjectives and added with the affixes. So it is the base words, kata-kata dasar, bisa verb, bisa noun atau adjectives, and then added with affixes. Affixes itu adalah syllables, additional syllables atau suku kata tambahan yang mengubah arti dari suatu kata tersebut. Okay, the affixes is divided into 2, ada suffix sama prefix. Kalau suffix itu syllable-nya ditaruh di belakang, kalau prefix itu ditaruhnya di depan. So for example, expensive, expense, and then if. Expense is the noun, if it is the suffix because it is put at the back of the noun. So expensive is changes the categories into adjectives. Okay, understandable. Understand is a verb. And then added with suffix able, it becomes understandable, it becomes the adjectives. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, anya adalah prefix, believe verbs, and able is suffix. So unbelievable is adjectives. Okay, let's move on to the comparison adjective. Perhaps you are familiar with the comparison adjective. There are 3 divisions of comparison adjective. Ada equal adjectives, comparative adjectives, and superlative adjectives. Equal adjective, it means you want to compare 2 things, but they are equal to each other. So you need to have S plus adjective plus S. For example, my car is as expensive as yours. So your car and my car is as much as expensive. Okay, the price in Carrefour is twice as much as in hypermart. Please be careful of the word twice, even though you have as much as in here, but as long as you have twice or 2/3 or third, it means one of them is higher than the other one. Sorry. So twice as much in here, it means the price is Carrefour is more expensive than in the hypermart. Okay, but actually you can use as much as it. Next is comparative. The formula is adjective plus er or more plus adjective, and then you have to add with the word than. The comparative means one of the thing or the person that you want to compare should be higher or lower than the other. For example, this radio is more audible than the others. It means that this radio is more audible than the other radio. Okay, superlative. The formula is V plus adjective plus est plus most or most plus adjective. The superlative means if you want to compare one person atau one thing, but you want to compare it with the other one, the others. I mean, kamu ingin mengcompare satu barang atau satu orang, tapi semuanya jauh, tapi dia adalah yang paling bagus atau paling segalanya. So it needs superlative. The examples is Niagara Falls becomes the largest falls of any other falls. Please highlight yourself that if in comparative or in superlative you need to have the word then, and then in superlative you need to have the word the. Okay, jangan sampai lupa. Karena that is the most important part if you want to use either comparative or superlative. Okay, next, participial adjective. If you want to have participial adjective, it is divided into two, present participle sama past participle. Participial adjective, it means you want to have the verb to be changed into the adjective. Kamu mau menggunakan suatu verb atau kata kerja atau suatu action, tapi mau menjadikan itu sebagai suatu adjective. Okay, it is divided into present sama past. Kalau present participle, you need to have a verb plus ing atau verb ing. Irritating and then eye-catching. Please highlight that even though this is a verb, but because you want to use it as the adjective, the formula of adjective should be applied. Okay, so this job is very irritating. This job is subject, is be, kemudian very irritating is the adjective. Eye-catching, I found this ring very eye-catching. And then the past participle is the verb 3. Kalau present participle menggunakan verb ing, kalau past participle menggunakan verb 3. For example, like in danger, we must save the endangered animal. Unknown, the city is unknown for the tourists. Well-built, he successfully made a well-built museum. The question is, kapan kita menggunakan present participle dan kapan kita menggunakan past participle? The difference is kalau present participle, you want to use adjective but in the active meaning. Kalau past participle harus di passive meaning, but it is still adjectives. For examples like the words boring or bored. Kalau boring, gunakanlah untuk my class is boring. This party is boring. Tapi kalau bored, digunakanlah untuk I am bored. Saya lagi bosan, so I am bored. Kelas ini membosankan. This class is boring. Sama kayak interesting sama interested. And they are used participial adjectives. Okay, interesting, this class is interesting. Kalau interested, I am interested in this class. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Position of adjectives, ada before noun sama after a verb. Kalau before noun, it is called attributive adjective. Biasanya dimasukkan dalam noun phrase. Kayak a beautiful lady, the most interesting book, and then after verb is it is put as the verb atau be. Okay, your perfume smells horrible, atau I came late yesterday, atau the printer's ink is getting running out. Okay, next to the adverb. Yeah, selain adjectives, there is one more part of speech that you need to remember. There is adverbs atau kata keterangan. Okay. Now, what is adverb? Adverb is a word that modifies a verbs, adjectives, clause, and other adverbs. Ini fungsinya jauh lebih banyak daripada adjectives, tapi perbedaan antara adjective sama adverb ada di sini. Kalau yang ditanya is adverb different with adjective, maka the answer is yes. Adjective is a word that modifies a noun or pronoun. Meanwhile, adverb is a word that modifies everything but noun or pronoun. Dua-duanya sama-sama berfungsi memodify atau mendescribe. Tapi yang didescribe, yang dimodify itulah yang berbeda. So that's the difference between adjective sama adverb. Okay, let's move on to the types of adverbs. Ada banyak, there are a lot of types of adverbs because because the adverb has a lot of functions, so the typesnya juga pasti lebih banyak. Adverbs of time, adverbs of place and directions, adverb of manner, adverbs of degree, adverbs of emphasizing, conjunctive adverbs, and the last one is sentence adverbs. Let's start with adverbs of time. I want to make it short aja because you are perhaps familiar with this. Kalau adverbs of time ada definite adverb, ada indefinite adverb. Kalau definite adverb is the verb that is definite, udah exactly like that. Sudah seperti itu. Like today, now, yesterday, 2 days ago, 2015, Tuesday, so name of the day, name of the month, name of year, itu semuanya adalah definite adverb. Sudah jelas exact time-nya. Indefinite adverb, on the other hand, itu adalah yang belum jelas. Indefinite ya, unexact adverb of time. Like presently, finally, already, later, always, and usually. Okay, but they are all the adverbs of time. Next, adverb of place and directions. Ada adverb of place, ada directions. Kalau place ya exact place ya, in my house, on the street, on the way, at my place, at the park. Perhaps you want to know about the difference between in, on, and at. Actually, you can ask me via these discussions atau Japri. I will give you the explanations if you want to know. Adverb of directions ada here, there, the way, on the left, on the right side, outside, on the west, north, and etc. Okay, next, adverb of manner. So, manner is, kalau Indonesia, keterangan cara, but the formula of adverb of manner is very easy. That is, you need to have only adjective and then plus li. So every adjective added with li, it is called adverb of manner, and it is part of the adverb. For example, like quick plus li, li is the suffix for you to know. So quickly is become the adverb. Rapidly, mercifully even has a longer longer suffix ya. Ada mercy, ada full, ada li. So next is surprisingly, dari kata surprise, and then added with ing, and then with li, so it becomes the adverb. Okay, next, adverb of degree, derajat. So if you want to have a degree of something, of your of your clause or your sentence, you need to have degree. Ada very, ada too, quite, very strong, too soon, and quite surprising. Itu adalah semuanya adverb of degree. And they are adverb ya. Very is adverb. Please don't forget it. Next, adverb of emphasizing. If you want to emphasize, menekankan sesuatu, menekankan your sentence or your clause, please use adverb of emphasizing. Adverb of emphasizing ada even, ada only, ada just. For example, even she knows the news. Bahkan dia saja tahu the news gitu. Only once I hear the news. Cuma satu kali aja. Next, just. It is just me and you who know the news. The other please don't. Example like that. Okay. Next, ada conjunctive adverb. Berarti suatu adverb atau keterangan yang posisinya sebagai conjunction atau connectors. So conjunction adverb is an adverb which put as the conjunction or connectors of two clauses. For you to know, clauses sama sentence itu kurang lebih sama. Bedanya hanyalah sometimes dalam satu sentence it can have more than one clauses. Okay. Therefore ada thus, oleh sebab itu, nevertheless, however, specifically, otherwise, in fact, unless, and besides. They are all conjunctive adverb. And this is the examples. Technology is a dynamic field of study. Therefore, we must keep ourselves updating. Okay, therefore. Next, sentence adverbs. Kalau tadi conjunctive adverbs itu between two clauses atau two sentences. Tapi kalau sentence adverbs, if you want to start a sentence with an adverb, you may start with this kind of adverbs. Okay, fortunately, unfortunately, actually, eventually, in more specific, in addition, as a matter of fact, lastly, to begin with, after that, etc. Additionally, technology develops every conventional way of our life. Okay, the last one, and next is position of adverbs. There are three kinds of positions of adverbs. Ada initial atau di depan, middle ada di tengah, final itu di belakang. Initial itu, for example, like sometimes I need a place to hide. Lately, I'm thinking about you. Itu more like um, adverb of time. Kalau middle position itu biasanya adverb of manner. I move quickly to get Mr. Bean's signature. Our profit decreased significantly in this trimester. Final position. I will email you later. I'm thinking about you lately. Okay, next. This is the forms of adverbs. Sometimes, what is it? There are several forms of adverbs beside the place and the time. Ada derivational plus ly, itu biasanya adverb of manner, periodically, usually, magnificently, and adalah next is comparative for adjectives. Yeah, sometimes comparative adjective can be used as the adverb. Tapi bedanya, you have to use what is it? Adverb form. So it is more periodically than etc. Blah blah blah. Kemudian er, kemudian the most, and est. Okay, next. This is the trivia. If you want to know which one is correct between the bread is fresh made atau the bread is freshly made, maka jawabannya adalah the bread is freshly made. Why? Karena go back to the formula of the adjective sama adverb. Kalau adjective itu haruslah subject plus be and then the adjective, dan tidak ada belakangnya. Nah, kalau ini the bread is freshly made, itu kan adverb, subject, kemudian verb, kemudian you can add the adverb, kemudian baru objeknya, verbnya. Oke, kalau mau seandainya the bread is fresh made ini betul, harusnya tambahkan kata atau the. The bread is fresh made, kan? Atau the bread is the fresh made, boleh. Okay, next. When do we use adverbs? Tadi sudah position, sekarang kapan sih kita pakai adverbs ini? Satu adalah after or before all verbs except the previous verbs. Maksudnya adalah bisa ditaruh di depan atau di belakangnya si adverbs, kecuali kalau ada verb sebelumnya. Okay, he looks for the money desperately, atau he desperately looks for the money, atau surprisingly he lost his money, atau he surprisingly lost the money, boleh ditaruh di situ. And then when it is necessary to explain the place, the time, manner, frequency, and degree of sentence. Yeah, you can put a lot of adverbs in one sentence as long as it is correct. I put my money in the safe cabinet carefully last week. Okay, let me break it down. I is the subject, put adalah verb, my money is object, in the safe cabinet adalah adverb of place, carefully adalah adverb of manner, and last week is the adverb of time. Okay, next. Okay, sudah di situ saja. Okay, that is the end of my presentation. Please take a look also in the assignment part, because I also attach one practice for you to do, and then next week we will start with the tenses. Okay, we are still learning about the grammar, and then see you again everyone in the next meeting, and good day.